March 15th, 1997. Dear Diary, my name is Belladonna. Our town has always been strange, as almost every place is. But life just got even stranger. About 5 years ago, a man and woman moved to our small town. They were odd. The wheels were on top of the car so it could be driving upside down. They were wearing black hooded cloaks. The woman was wearing heels while the man was wearing dress shoes, and you could hardly see their faces. My parents were creeped out by this, so we packed our stuff up and ran for the hills. However, they could never find a place like that town, so eventually we moved back. But when we went back, they had built an upside down house. My parents didn't know what to do. They had already spent money to get a house here, and we had already packed our lives up. What more could we do? So we stayed. We never stepped out unless we were practically desperate. We never had our windows open. We just stayed tucked away out of fear. Until one day we got a knock. It was them, but they looked normal. My parents talked to them for what felt like forever. Then they came back and told my siblings and me.
The reason they live their lives upside down is because...
What is it, Mom and Dad? I asked.
They're vampires.
I couldn't believe it. How is that possible?
I thought vampires only exist in shows and books.
My parents proceeded to tell us.
Yes, but they're not dangerous. They've already trained themselves.
However, I didn't believe them. Of course, not my parents. I mean, what did they know? They were just innocent civilians believing other people's, or should I say, undead supernatural beings' stories. And if you know me, you know that once something sparks me, I'll turn that spark into a fire and use the light of it to be nosy and investigate what I've been told to let go or leave untouched. So that's what I did. March 16th, 1997. Dear Diary, oh, how I wish I would have let that spark disappear, because now I have much bigger problems than having to worry about vampires living across from us. At 9 p.m. every night, lights go out and it's time for us to hit the hay. But like I said, I had already planned to investigate. And that I did. I waited till 10 p.m. to sneak out, just in case one of my parents came in to check on me. Once the clock hit, I grabbed my backpack, trench coat, and used boy's beret cap and snuck out. I went out my window and sat on my window box planter so I could close my window. But obviously, those aren't meant to support a human's weight. Just as I closed my window, the box planter broke and I fell. Everything went black. When I woke up, I was fine. What I found very weird was the fact that our house is 2 stories tall and I fell from the 2nd story. But I got up, shook it off, and continued my journey. When I reached their home, I went into their garden. I looked around there for a bit. Nothing unusual, beside the fact that everything was upside down. Then I saw the door creak open. Originally, I wasn't even going to attempt to step foot in the house. But when I saw the door crack, it felt as if I had to go, as if the house was calling me in. So I went in. It felt like an eternity trying to climb up into the house. When I went in, everything was normal. If I'm being completely transparent, I expected it to be dusty, full of spiders and cobwebs with bats flying everywhere. But it wasn't, so I went deeper. The deeper I went, the more it became like a dream. I'm not sure why. I wasn't sure if it was because I hadn't slept or for other reasons I couldn't think of. Still, I continued. It felt as if no one was home. Quiet, still, no life to be seen. Now, at the time, I couldn't tell if it felt like there was no life because they weren't home or if it was because they're vampires. Eventually, I reached a room. It was a nursery. I never saw a child with them, but to be fair, we've barely been living here for about a week at this point, and like I said, we hardly went out. I saw a chest, and like I said, I'm nosy, so I opened the chest. There were documents. It was documents about them putting their child up for adoption. I read through them, then eventually my eyes hit the child's name, Belladonna Phoebe Blackwood. That's me, I whispered to myself. Then I thought again, no, it says Blackwood, my last name Steelwyn, Belladonna Phoebe Steelwyn. But I still felt uneasy. So I kept reading. Then I got to it, the replaced birth certificate, and it read Belladonna Phoebe Steelwyn. Good heavens, it is me.
What are you doing here?
I heard a loud voice yell at me from behind. I shrieked, jumped, then turned around, and I saw it was them, the 2 vampires. I got up, aiming to escape out of the window, but as soon as I stood up to run, I couldn't move. It was almost as if someone had paralyzed me. I heard a voice say, "And where do you think you're going?" My whole body came closer to them. Not by my will, though, but by theirs. By using some power of theirs, they froze me. The vampires told me,
"I'll let you go, but you have to promise not to run."
I didn't want to stay, but I wanted to have control back of my own body more than anything. So I nodded my head yes, and he let me go. They sat me down and gave me the whole rundown. I was shocked, so I asked, so does this mean that I'm a...
Yes, you're Vaporous, Belladonna. And you are our daughter.